Joining us on the phone line today is writer-director Nathan Deming, who will be in our area coming up next week and talk about the film February. Nathan, how are you doing these days?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been a filmmaker?
I guess as long as there's been a camera around, I've been making something. I grew up in the era of going to the video store, seeing movies, renting them, checking out. Always loved movies. And then also a lot of VHS cameras were available at home. So yeah, I grew up doing it, but the big thing that changed for me was I went to the London Film School after college, which were one of my favorite filmmakers ever was the head of it at the time. His name was Mike Lee. And going there just kind of really changed everything and opened stuff up for me.
Was there a movie that really inspired you back then?
Yeah, well, he had a film out called Another Year that I just thought I've never seen anything like it. And he's the master of not only like very simple, realistic dramas, but just more than any other filmmaker creates these things that they just feel like real life. You feel like everybody in it is a real person, and you really get something out of it because I love all kinds of movies, but like, a horror movie, that certain things are going to happen, you know what I mean? Or a thriller, or like things can happen that don't really make sense. But his movies really adhere to reality, and I just love it.
Tell us about the Year Project and the inspiration specifically for your movie February, which will be showing in Richland Center in Viroqua next week.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do this crazy thing of making a film for every month of the year, all set in Wisconsin. And it's inspired by this series called The Decalogue, where a Polish filmmaker made a film for every one of the 10 Commandments, and they're all about an hour long. So that's about how long my films are. And I'm going in order. So I'm on February right now, so you can guess what comes next in the order. But yeah, they're all standalone films, but they all intersect and overlap, and I think we'll tell a larger story. But I just think we have so many interesting personalities, characters, and just, I guess, plain stories to tell in Wisconsin. I'm just so excited. And another big thing we have in Wisconsin that they don't have in California, where I've lived for 10 years now, is the seasons.
Right.
The months are so pronounced here. I'm just really excited by how they'll all start to line up together, once you have June next to February or July, and just also kind of tell the story of nature as well. This is deliberately going to take me a long time.
Oh.
January came out 2 years ago, and this is February, as we take it around the entire state of Wisconsin this February. And I'll do March in about another year or two. And the idea is this will be a little bit like the Spotted Cow of film series. You can only get it in Wisconsin, and you can only get it in that month of the year. And I deliberately wanted to take a while, too, because we also live in this kind of streaming era where I'm sure from Netflix or Hulu or whatever, like a new TV show comes out and then, like, drops the entire show in, like, one day, so you could just watch it in a weekend. And personally, I don't like that as much as, like, growing up, TV shows would take years to finish. And it was way much more fun as an experience. So I hope if Wisconsinites will have me, and if they are interested, and that they'll get used to me showing up at the movie theaters every couple of years, and they'll be like, oh, he's on April. Oh, he's on May,
Right.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo's in this one.
Well, that's interesting. Let's talk about casting and where are the actors from for your film February?
So February is specifically about a Latino immigrant who's just arrived to Wisconsin, and he's struggling to fit in, living with his family. Like a lot of people, doesn't like Wisconsin in February, and he's from a different climate. And nothing seems to be kind of getting him out of his funk until he finds ice fishing, and then he goes out for a kind of very memorable night on the ice with a coworker of his brother-in-law. And so I mention all that because a majority of the cast is Latino and came from Los Angeles to be in the film. But this ice fisherman character very much a Wisconsinite. I couldn't find anybody as I was casting throughout Wisconsin, in Chicago, bigger cities nearby, and I couldn't find anybody. So eventually, I just threw up an ad on Craigslist, and this amazing man replied, or actually his wife replied, because I put my Craigslist ad was looking for a crazy ice fisherman, and then his wife responded, "That's my husband," and sent me a photo, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." So he's he's not an actor, but he does a great job in the film and holds his own against all these other professional actors really well.
How crazy as a professional actor do you have to be to come from Los Angeles to star in a film in Wisconsin? You're not used to the climate, I'm sure, are you?
In February, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so far, David, the lead, he was with us on the first 2 weeks of the tour and might come back for the last bit. And now he's only seen Wisconsin in February. So, so a lot of people were telling him, like, it really is different in the summer. You got to come back here. It's paradise in the summer. Just, you got to get through this.
Yeah, he can work on some fishing out on a boat then when he comes back.
Some actual fishing.
Your Golden Badger Award at the Wisconsin Film Festival. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. One thing I really love about the Wisconsin Film Festival is people don't know this really, but a lot of different film festivals have different priorities, and Wisconsin does such a great job at fostering talent from Wisconsin. And so I was so honored that they picked us. We had a great time premiering the film with them, and I actually just over this last weekend got to be a part of the jury selecting this next year's Golden Badger winners, and got to pass on a little bit of the love as well. So that was really fun.
Awesome. I mean, you said you started out like on the VHS cameras. Now everybody's got a camera on their phone in which they can make some movies better than we could, 30 years ago in some ways. But a lot to be said for that, but also for your creativity and certainly technology has probably helped you perform your tasks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we're on the edge of a very interesting time. I'm also working with this nonprofit called Action Wisconsin, which is this bipartisan group of business owners, filmmakers, and even like restaurant owners, like a really eclectic group of people who are advocating for more film making in Wisconsin. And people like the technology that I use to make my film wasn't around like even 10 years ago, let alone 20. It's getting easier and easier for filmmakers like me, in other words, independent filmmakers, to make very high-quality, cinematic-looking products that look like movies you're used to in the movie theater. I just hope more and more like that can happen in Wisconsin because it's very exciting.
How many venues are you showing the film February across the state?
I don't have a full count, but we are showing every day of the month of February except for this last weekend, during Valentine's weekend. And we're doing multiple shows a day sometimes. We are stopping in at least 30 cities. So so if people miss us in Viroqua or Richland Center, check out our link at februaryfilm.com/screenings, and they'll see where else we're going. We got a big show in Madison in early March as well.
So tell us more about the tour around Wisconsin and what you're hoping to get out of it and learn from it.
Well, this is such a fun way for me as I introduce this year project to people to just connect with local audiences, especially this month. I mean, I've had multiple shows that almost got canceled because of snowstorms, just perfect February weather, and people came out anyways. Half the audience seems to have a runny nose or a sore throat. Like we're all in a February mindset right now, and it's just great to see everybody come out and connect with them. And I think they're really responding to the year idea, because afterwards they'll come up to me and tell me ideas for March or April, and things in their lives that they really like about those months of the year.
By the way, if you're looking to cast a gray-haired radio announcer, I know one.
Oh, yeah. Send me a headshot.
Okay. What is your desert island film, Nathan, if you had one film to take with you?
Oh, man. That's a great question. I like all kinds of movies. My first thought is that one of my favorite films that changed my life is this movie called Tree of Life. You ever saw that by Terrence Malick?
I don't think so.
Absolutely incredible. You should check it out. But also, I could probably just take Star Wars and be pretty happy. You know what I mean?
And Tony Johnson from Center Cinema and I, we have a weekly thing, and we talk about movies all the time. And I'm a little out of the demographic, but I don't really appreciate all the superhero films anymore that they show. And so I'm not sure your thought on that either, but I think sometimes they're a little weak on storyline.
Yeah, I think, well, that's one reason I'm passionate about what I'm doing, too. I want to see movies that show places I haven't seen before or might be underrepresented, and right now Wisconsin isn't really represented, and regular people aren't really represented. You go to the cinema now, it's usually like big superhero thing, and that's all fine, but, I love the whole history of Hollywood as well, and there used to be a lot more variance at the movie theater, so I hope that continues to change as well.
Can you tell us when the film February will be showing here in Richland Center and in Viroqua?
Yeah, Richland Center, we're going to be at the Center Cinema on February 25th. 2 screenings, one at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. I'm going to be at both, do a Q&A afterwards. Should be a lot of fun. Then we're stopping at Viroqua just 2 days later on the 27th at 6 p.m., and we'll be at the Historic Temple Theater.
What's a common question you get from the audience after they've seen your film?
They want to know when we shot it, because the Wisconsinites are very savvy, and they're like, wait a minute, when did we have good ice? Yeah. They're trying to do the math on, some people thought this year was a bad year too, but last year was a really horrible year for ice fishing. They often want to know about that. They want to know where the ice fishing was, and they also want to know, I was going to spoil the film. I won't do that. They have a spoiler question as well.
That's awesome. And your actors that were in there as well, can they be up for any kind of certain specific awards or anything like that?
Well, they've already won some. Richie, the wonderful man from Craigslist, he actually won an award from the Milwaukee Independent Film Awards. That happened a couple months ago. And we sort of finished. We're still playing a couple more film festivals. I don't know what categories they have, but we'll be at Green Bay next month and Beloit in April. And I think they have categories too. So yeah, technically everybody's up for something.
Well, that is awesome. Well, keep doing what you're doing. That sounds like very fascinating stuff. We hope a lot of our listeners will stop by the theater and see the showings coming up here in Richland Center in Viroqua. Nathan, thanks for talking with us today.
Yeah, really nice. Thanks for having me.
Nathan Deming, independent writer, director, filmmaker, and that showing of February is coming up at Center Cinema here in Richland Center and at the Temple Theater in Viroqua.